Hey, what's up guys, Irv here. So I always enjoy covering threads like this. They're asking for hot takes or something that's going to cause controversy within certain parts of the internet. This time the prompt is very simple. It's asking Twitter users to post an image that will anger an entire fan base. And this is really a trip down memory lane for me or longtime viewers of the channel because we've pretty much covered all of the major ones that are shared in the quotes of this prompt here. But when I saw it, I gave my own contribution, so we're going to start there. This was the first thing I thought of. This is pretty much the epitome of something that will anger a bunch of different people on the internet. It angers tourists, it angers those with headcanon, and it angers the activists. So obviously this is featuring Bayonetta in a happy relationship with a happy family. And this is official art of the franchise. So it is canon, this is the reality. And this really upset a lot of people because in their headcanon they believed that Bayonetta was only interested in women. And also, it makes them angry because, well, they're seeing a happy family, and nothing makes miserable Twitter users more angry than seeing a happy family. But of course, a lot of the quotes contained straight relationships, which is very funny. As pointed out by this clearly sane individual, these entire quotes is just one giant coal mine of insecure het slop, hetero ships or hetero relationships is what they're saying. And this person, another sane one, says 90% Diddy bloods. And then the original poster says average het shipper, I gotta say. So if you are supporting straight relationships, even canonical ones in works of fiction, you are some sort of a predator according to these very sane individuals. That bio is a complete and utter mess. Virtue signaling on steroids. But let's move on. Let's make them even more angry because here is another ship. Of course, this one made people very angry. A lot of people in the My Hero Academia fan base were horrified to see a result like this. And you know what? Great. There is no greater joy than making Yuri and Yaoi shippers cry. Absolutely. And in the replies to that, we saw make them cry more. I'm gay and I would rather see more straight ships. I speak of the folks who are burnt the F out on Yaoi/Yuri ships. Also, by the way, if you're not like terming online, that means like homosexual ships, like people shipping two characters together of the same gender. But they continue on saying, keep these coming, your art looks wholesome, and I'm digging the style. Another person says, a cannon is a large gun. Canon is an official collection of lore and legends, both sink ships. Very good comment. Here's another one that's very interesting. Some people might not know this one. It's a little bit older. But a couple years ago, when Animal Crossing was like the big thing, okay, everyone was playing Animal Crossing, someone posted a picture simply saying cute space buns. Okay, it's a hairstyle. And people believe, because of the fair-skinned nature of this character, this was cultural appropriation. Yes. And when I say that people were upset, I mean like viral. This was around 2020, so like this was peak mental illness on the internet, right? Like the wokest moments we were experiencing was around that time when everyone was locked in for COVID and they lost their minds. Yeah, this person who posted it, the original poster, was doxxed and threatened and harassed. Their family put at risk because of this photo. And the simple hairstyle, that's it. That's all it took. And that person's life was turned upside down. That is peak 2020 era of Twitter. Here is another one that we've talked about before. Okay, there's this dynamic here with a big man who's, scarred and he's gone through a lot and he tries to act tough and emotionless. And then on the other side, we have just a decent woman, motherly vibes. And then she comforts him when he is hurting. Yep. As I always say, that's a healthy dynamic right there. People absolutely lose their minds over this. People have regularly posted this, saying it's like misogynistic, it's unhealthy. Like, look, it's good to show emotion with whoever you're with, right? As a man, it's good to be able to show emotion here and there. Doesn't mean you should be some blabbering crybaby 24/7, but you should be able to share times you're going through that are tough. Like, if the woman you're with cannot accept that, that's a major red flag. But again, doesn't mean you should be some blubbering crybaby 24/7, but people have a real issue with this, and it's kind of insane. So you can see this right here. This is a quote saying, well, the image sucks because just a decent woman implies that the woman has no personality besides motherly vibes. She's not fleshed out, just a perfect item to help him cope. Really? Is that what it's saying? But you know what? This is Twitter. 54,000 likes, and this person says, y'all complain about everything men like. And the original poster responds by saying, only seems to be incels. They get mad at the point of being mad. Confident men don't get mad. You heard it here, folks, from this totally sane Twitter user. If you get mad, you're not confident. If you get mad at anything in your life that ever happens to you, you are not confident. And also, if this criticism they're making, this point they're trying to make, upsets you in any sort of a way or you have an issue with it, you're an incel. Amazing, amazing stuff. But despite the 54,000 likes, you pretty much can't find a single comment agreeing with them. The friend who doesn't like anything, sorry but wanting to support and comfort your man isn't a bad thing. No wonder you'll be forever hated and single. Men, there's literally only one thing we want. Women, ew, we have high standards. Men, okay, but you're doing everything other than the only thing we want. Yeah, duh, because you shouldn't want that. Nothing wrong with that. Being just a decent woman is extraordinarily high standard that majority of women can't reach these days. Standards are so low, and yet women still can't reach them. So people were not agreeing with the original post being made here. But then we have this one from Wuthering Waves, where the character Chiza simply said, "Thank you, senpai." Now, the crash out over this was kind of twofold. On the one hand, people were mad because they used the term senpai, and people were trying to say that there was some sort of like sexual or romantic connotation to it, and as a result, it made them very mad to the point where notes had to be applied because they were so upset about a potential headcanon of this character being disrupted, that maybe she's interested, and like it made people go absolutely crazy when simply they were just calling each other senior. She was calling him senior in Japanese. That's it. That's all senpai means. It's not some great deeper meaning that is sexual or romantic in nature when it's generally spoken. But yeah, that caused a big controversy in that community. Here's another one, very simple, very simple. Hassan shocking his dog, which has happened many times, obviously, as you guys know if you've been watching the channel, and nothing gets his fan base more riled up than literally pointing out things that actually happen, like him visibly on camera multiple times shocking his dog. They just will not accept the truth that makes Hassan look bad, even when it's right in front of them. The most brainwashed fan base you will ever see. Here's another one involving the Guilty Gear franchise. This is one of the bigger controversies you'll ever see, especially with anything involving identity politics. The character Bridget, for the longest time, was just a male character who dressed in effeminate clothing. And eventually, as pointed out in the proposed note, they're very mad about this one. In the most recent set of series, they referred to Bridget as a female. And it pretty much retconned the entire nearly 2 decades standard of this character. You can see like the way this is even worded. It is frequently reposted during online debates about Bridget's gender identity, without noting that Strive later continues and resolves her character arc. resolves the character arc. Yeah, something stands for 2 decades, and a random couple of quotes pretty much removes that entire history. And people were quick to point out that, like, yeah, also, like, is this really the character you want as trans representation? Because Bridget was born as a twin, and there's a superstition that if they're the same gender, it's going to cause bad things. And they dressed up Bridget as a girl, and that doesn't really sound like a really positive story for the trans representation. Someone being forced to appear a certain way and then eventually accepting it. It's absolutely crazy. But here's one that's not really too confusing. This one really isn't too surprising unless you're a tourist, but this is referring to Astolfo from the Fate series. And there's this quote here saying, "Of course, I'm my own man." The same thing really happened with Astolfo, but the difference is there's not even like a retcon or a change in the lore at any point. Astolfo's just always been a man, right? He's always identified as a man, but of course is effeminate. But the people who are pushing for this character to be identifying as trans, they don't accept that. They don't accept anything that's actually legit. And if you want to have your own headcanon, as always, who cares? But the second you say my headcanon is controlling, and that's the right way of looking at things, and if you disagree, you are wrong, or even transphobic in this case, yeah, that's when it goes a little too far. Here's another one, speaking of trying to create headcanons and trying to trump the official lore. When it comes to the character Yamato, there is a belief out there that this character is trans, that they identify as a man. Obviously, of course they would think this way. It's just a logical conclusion, right, ladies and gentlemen? But they believe this because the character LARPs as a male figure for one time, okay? And you look at this, and this is the official card for the character created by Oda, the creator of this character, and it's labeled as female. End of debate, you would think, right? No. People literally say, I don't care what the creator said, my headcanon is above all, including the creator of the character. Insane stuff. But here's another one from MiHoYo. This is the MiHoYo CEO and co-founder saying, but I believe a 30-year-old otaku, he would have liked Lolly Girl better. Oh boy, do not show this to the Western Hoyoverse fans. Do not show this to the Genshin fans or anything like that, right? They will absolutely lose their mind about their CEO. They'd be calling him Diddy Blood and all these things because he said these things about fictional characters, and he understands what's popular with the overall fan base, that sort of type of character. But here's another one about Superman. He wages a never-ending fight for truth, justice, and the American way? Whoa, can't have that in the year 2026. Absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. That is very offensive. Yeah, they've been toning that one down, especially the last couple of years. Just stripping this character of a core piece of its identity that's been there for very, very, very long. Decades and decades, but of course, we got to pander to these sensitive ones who get all bent out of shape hearing a character fighting for the American way. But here's one last one. This one is always interesting. The McDonald's ad. Again, nothing gets people more upset than seeing a happy family. The amount of seething about this was palpable. Okay, people saying this is like fascist propaganda, that this is offensive, this is not inclusive, that there's something predatory about this. People went every length because the original ad, the official art by McDonald's Japan, went super viral. Like, it was a super viral campaign, and in Japan, it was beloved. But when it got over to the Western side of Twitter, people were molding, seething, and just going absolutely crazy. So I think this is a very good one to end this video on. So as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.